This my two Satoshis. This my two Satoshis. Who need 2 cents when they can get double from stacking Toshis? Yeah, this my two Satoshis. Yeah, it's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another episode of My Two Satoshis. It is Monday, and I gotta give a shout out to my main man, Wired Sparks, for the song request today. Larry June, Tangible Assets. He said in this comment here, CB, after the meeting with the IMF, the president of El Salvador doesn't back down. They will be put on the OECD gray list as an uncooperative tax haven. Still uncooperative, they will be put on the FATFA blacklist as a high-risk and non-cooperative country that poses a risk to the international financial system. That's a lot to swallow, a lot to think about. What do you guys think about El Salvador? We're going to talk about that today. My man, Max Keiser, who I'm very good friends with, has some comments about that we'll talk about in today's episode. But what's good, people? Welcome to another episode. Hope everyone's doing well. Happy Monday. And today we are going to be looking at Elon Musk capitulating, saying that they're going to buy Bitcoin when it becomes more green. I don't know how that's ever going to happen fully, to the extent of what, a lot of these proof of stake or even delegated proof of stake blockchains can do. Delegated proof of stake, which is what my team represents, all the EOS IO blockchains like EOS, Wax, Telos, Proton, and a few others, are so much more green than even Ethereum that Bitcoin probably has no chance of catching up. But at least we're going to take a look at what he has to say. Is this the reason why we saw a bump in Bitcoin? I don't think so. I think there are some other fundamental things going on. One being this one out of CoinGate. And it's about the El Salvador situation with Bitcoin and them making Bitcoin recognized as an asset there, or as money, I should say. But Max Keiser suggests that El Salvador is to float Bitcoin Volcano bonds to retire the IMF loans that they have. This will be interesting, and we'll see if that actually happens. We'll see what Max Keiser says in detail about that. And lastly, Block.one, yes, that's the creator of the original source code for EOS IO, is now free to focus on the $10 billion Bitcoin crypto business after the lawsuit settlement. So many people have been criticizing Block.one for not being very active within the community. Maybe this is a turning point for Block.one. They have over $10 billion as a war chest to make things happen for the community. I think this is positive news, and this will lure even more developers over to this platform, into this ecosystem, because it is a superior blockchain using WebAssembly, C++, half-second block times, and a number of other characteristics that really makes EOS IO the chain of the future, or at least one of the chains, right? There won't be one winner. There'll be a couple, but I think EOS IO, which is used by, again, EOS, Wax, Telos, and all those others that I just mentioned, will be in the race for sure. Definitely in the race. So we'll take a look at this settlement, and I'll give you my two Satoshis on what that means for the EOS token. All three articles coming up on today's episode of My Two Satoshis. Let's get. Before we start, if you guys find these types of videos informative, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and click that bell to receive more videos like this. It's green as F today, boy. Look at that heat map. All green across the board for the most part. Bitcoin is up 12% today. It is trading at that upper bound, the upper range of that channel. We're going to look at the technicals here in a second. I'll give you my two Satoshi on that. Ethereum up 9.4%, trading at $2,574. All green for just about every altcoin in the game. But let's take a look at the technicals really quickly, because I told you guys a couple of days ago, or last week I should say, that we would bounce off that channel, the bottom side of it, one more time. Now we're heading to the top of that channel, ladies and gents. What do you think is going to happen? Give me your predictions in the comments below. I'm going to extend this out. If you predict correctly, I will be sending you some NFTs out of my own personal stash. So make sure you definitely comment in the section below. Do we see a breakout from here and start heading back up? Or are we going to bounce off of this and head lower? Give me those predictions in the comments below. I'm not even going to let you know what Crypto Diamonds is thinking. I don't want to influence your decision. But still in that consolidated zone. So we'll have to see what happens here. First article, though, Max Keiser suggests that El Salvador will float Bitcoin Volcano bonds to retire the IMF loans. So Max Keiser pointed to the fact that El Salvador's Bitcoin mining hubs powered by geothermal energy from volcanoes can generate $250 million in excess revenue a year. He said that he asked Galaxy partners to float $1 billion Bitcoin volcano bonds backed by future Bitcoin mining output. So last week, of course, we all know, and I covered this, El Salvador passed a historic Bitcoin law, making it the first country to make Bitcoin a legal tender. Soon as the Bitcoin law comes into action in the next 90 days, merchants will be able to accept Bitcoin against their goods and services. However, the International Monetary Fund raises objections, citing legal and economic concerns relating to the new Bitcoin law. But besides that, the IMF also assured that they would grant a $1 billion loan to help the Latin American country to overcome their economic challenges. There we go. I told you guys how the IMF floats those loans out there, knowing that you can't pay them back, but they'll give you a loan. So then in return, take your assets, your airports, your physical gold and precious metal mining locations. Like, they'll do all of that in return for you defaulting on your loans, and they give you loans that they know you can't pay back. So Max Keiser suggests that they get rid of the IMF loans by floating Bitcoin volcano bonds backed by future Bitcoin mining revenues. This suggestion came as El Salvador's president was keen on developing greener energy Bitcoin mining hubs. As a response to the president, Global Blockchain Business Council head George Keiser said that El Salvador, with their current setup, can generate 3 exahashes, which is around 600 Bitcoin in revenue per month, or $250,000 per year. He said he's confident that these metrics you can structure a proper JV with credible investors and take care of the IMF once and for all. And so Max Keiser said that Bitcoin will actually take down the IMF before IMF can take down El Salvador, it looks like. Speaking to Express UK, Keiser also predicts that Bitcoin will rise to become the reserve currency of the world, and central bank giants like America's Federal Reserve and Bank of England are at the risk of being disintermediated. He goes on to say here, I've advised the president of El Salvador to create a new volcano bond backed by future Bitcoin mining revenues to recapitalize their balance sheet and retire the IMF loans. He says, I know of 2 banks in New York that are working on this now. Wow. Let me know your thoughts on this. I'm sure this could possibly happen, but which bank would be willing to do this? Because there would be blowback from the big dogs like the IMF and BIS and other organizations. There'll be blowback against those banks that were willing to put those bonds up and float those. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on this. Is this something that is even necessary? Because we know that the IMF is coming for El Salvador. They've got to do something. They've definitely got to do something. So let me know what you think they can do to get the IMF off their backs by making Bitcoin legal tender. Yikes. Next article out of Cointelegraph. Block.one free to focus on $10 billion crypto business after lawsuit settlement. With legal trouble seemingly behind the company, Block.one could set its sights on finally making a significant dent in the crypto and blockchain space. I'm just going to say this really quickly. This is I didn't even know that they hadn't settled. I knew that a verdict or whatnot was made years ago by the SEC, but I thought at that point they had paid their fine and moved on. It looks like that was still an ongoing legal battle, and this really explains a lot, in my opinion, as to why Block.one has been so reserved and kind of standoffish to the EOS community or EOS.io community. Let's see what this article is saying. The EOS.io developer Block.one said it is focusing on its crypto business mandate after recently settling a class action lawsuit. In a blog post published on Friday, the blockchain software firm announced a settlement agreement with a group of investors led by Crypto Asset Opportunity Fund related to the 2018 EOS initial coin offering. If approved by the court, Block.one will settle $27.5 million, a figure similar to the fine remitted by the company to the SEC back in October. So that is the one that I thought they had settled. So it looks like they did settle that one with the SEC. This is a totally different one. And so Block.one made a comment on this settlement, this latest settlement, and they say they believe, Block.one that is, believes this lawsuit was without merit and filed with numerous inaccuracies. However, accepting this settlement allows us to focus more time and energy on running our business and delivering new products. Indeed, the company recently announced plans to launch Bullish Global, a tech subsidiary that aims to bridge the traditional and digital asset spaces. So this may be, again, a very bullish move for EOS, seeing that they now can really start putting money to work after this lawsuit. I didn't even know about this particular lawsuit. I thought this was the same one from the SEC, but it's not. It was a separate one with a similar figure as far as the fine. I think the SEC, they had to pay 30 million or 25 million, and this one was around the same amount. So interesting to see that happen. But let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. What will happen because of this move for EOS? Elon Musk capitulates on Bitcoin, says Tesla will resume Bitcoin payments when mining gets greener. I don't even know how to take that. I'm sorry. I think that's a bunch of BS. But let's take a look at what he says here. Yesterday, Tesla CEO Elon Musk tweeted that the electric vehicle manufacturer will resume accepting Bitcoin payments for its vehicles once the energy use of Bitcoin mining relies less on carbon-based sources. When there's confirmation of less than or around 50% clean energy usage by miners with positive future trends, Tesla will resume allowing Bitcoin transactions. The tweet was a response to an article in which Magda Wierzgak, CEO of financial service company Zignia, accused Musk of price manipulation in the Bitcoin market. Musk denied such accusations in the same tweet, saying that Tesla only sold around 10% of holdings to confirm Bitcoin could be liquidated easily without moving markets. Musk has been actively sharing his thoughts about Bitcoin, though, and its energy consumption over the past few months. In April, he agreed with Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, that Bitcoin incentivizes renewable energy. Less than a month after that, however, Musk turned around and announced that Tesla would no longer accept Bitcoin payments for its cars over environmental concerns. I just personally think that this guy is a mad genius and flip-flops all over the place. I can't really understand why people are paying attention to him when it comes to Bitcoin. I mean, it's easy to, right? Because he's one of the wealthiest people in the world, if not the wealthiest. I know it fluctuates depending on where Tesla stock is at the moment, but I personally think that there is no chance for Bitcoin to become any more greener. I mean, it could become greener, but all of these other blockchain stacks and technologies are so far ahead of Bitcoin. Even if Bitcoin decreases carbon footprint by 50%, it still pales in comparison to all of these proof of stake and delegated proof of stake blockchains like EOS that are way better. We actually wrote an article about this and showing how much more green delegated proof of stake blockchains are on our website, and I'll try to link this in the description below. You should read this write-up we did, EOS Detroit did, regarding this. A lot of great stats that will blow your mind on how DPoS is much more green if you're into that whole thing than a lot of these other consensus algorithms. But that's pretty much it for today, ladies and gents. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Click that bell to receive more videos like this. And again, shout out to my man Wire Sparks, a premium supporter. Been rocking with CB for a long time. I got something for you, Wire Sparks. Thanks for all the support. He had the song request, Larry June, Tangible Assets. We out of here, people. Holla!